In May 1883, Gangadhar Maharaj visited Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. The master received Gangadhar cordially and made him sit on his small cot. He then asked, "Have you ever seen me before?" "Yes," Gangadhar replied. "I saw you once when I was very young at the house of Dinanath Basu in Calcutta." The elder Gopal was also present. Addressing him, the master said with a smile, "Oh Gopal, listen to this. This boy says he met me when he was very young. This little one had an early boyhood." Gangadhar looked exceptionally young for his age, and moreover, he had a childlike demeanor. Gangadhar later recalls his first meetings with the master. "In the afternoon, the master asked me to go to the Panchavati after saluting the deities at the Kali and Vishnu temples. Later in the evening, as I returned to the master's room, I heard music being played from the two Nahabats, concert towers, and the temple garden was filled with the melodious sound of the Vesper bells. The master's room was dark, and there was a sweet smell of incense. The master was seated on his cot, barely visible. He did not have any outer consciousness. As he had asked me to stay overnight at the temple garden, I did so. The next morning, when I was about to leave for Calcutta, he said to me with a smile, 'Come again on Saturday.' After a few days, I went to Sri Ramakrishna for the second time on a Saturday, and I was again made to stay overnight. In the evening, after the Vesper services was over, the master handed me a mat and asked me to spread it on the western veranda. He took his pillow and sat down on the mat. He then asked me to sit in a comfortable posture and to meditate. It is not good to sit leaning forward or to hold the body too straight, he said. That evening, the master initiated me by writing a mantram on my tongue. He then lay down, putting his feet on my lap, and asked me to give them a little massage. I was quite strong as I practiced wrestling. No sooner had I begun to press his feet than he cried out, "What are you doing? The legs will be crushed." "Press them gently." Immediately I realized how soft and tender the master's body was, as if his bones were covered with butter. I was embarrassed, and I asked with some fear, "How then should I massage?" "Pass your hands over them gently," he replied. "Niranjan also did like you at first." On the weekends, many devotees would come to visit the master. In order to avoid the crowd, Gangadhar would go on weekdays. Sometimes he would stay overnight. This enabled Ramakrishna to imprint his way of life and teachings on the mind of his young disciple. Gangadhar reminisced. One morning, Sri Ramakrishna asked me to accompany him to the Panchavati, and there he told me to meditate facing the east. He left for a while, and when he came back, he set my body straight. He remarked, "You become a bit bent during meditation." We then returned to his room. After that, he asked me to carry a water pot and go with him to the Chandni, the bathing ghat on the Ganges. He had his bath and returned to his room in his wet cloth. Before he put on his fresh clothes, he asked me to sprinkle a little Ganga water on it. There was a picture of Mother Kali of Kalighat in his room, which he saluted. Then he ate a little dry prasad of Lord Jagannath and gave some to me. Standing in front of the picture of Kali, he said several times, "Om Kali." He then put the palm of his right hand on his chest with the 3 middle finger tips touching the palm, and he stood there with half-closed eyes for some time. After that, he took the offered fruits and sweets that had been sent to him from the Kali and Vishnu temples. He then drank a little bale sarbat and gave me the prasad. after which he sat on his small cot and smoked from a hubble bubble. When the food offering was over in the temples, the master took me to the eastern veranda of his room and said, "Go and take the prasad of Mother Kali. It is cooked in the Ganga water and is very holy." I agreed.